Well, I guess my favorite engagement is one where I worked several years with. They were probably the largest personnel placement firm at that time in the state of Connecticut, with two partners that came to me because they were a little bit stuck in their growth. Really ambitious, insightful type of owner, one that always was up for constant improvement. And one of the initial issues which I discovered when I first talked to them is that they had started out with 5 partners, there are now 2. And the one partner that had really grown the business and had grown as a leader in the business wanted to buy the other partner out, and that was one of their substantial issues. They had their 10th anniversary of Windows of the World, Twin Towers. And the articulate president was going to announce to the rest of the organization that he had bought out his partner. And when he went to announce it, he was not that articulate. His voice broke up. He really couldn't say anything. And his partner, who was an ex-cop, a really salt-of-the-earth guy, walked over, hugged him in front of 110 people, and said, "It's okay. So-and-so has bought me out, and I'm okay with it." To me, that was probably the most important paycheck I ever had. Resolving such a deep problem where people trusted me, I was able to help them solve it. Be honest with them in the beginning where I didn't have a solution, but I knew somehow I would, and it worked out just fine. The one partner wanted to buy out the other partner to make room for new equity positions for key managers that frankly had outgrown this other partner. The solution was a very interesting one. It was to have them agree, both partners agree, that the survival and the growth of the business was most important, and that the second most important thing is their accomplishment of their personal goals, as long as it didn't affect number 1. Out of that agreement, I was able to develop a process where they could share their personal goals, what amounts to, and a process where they can accept it or modify their goals briefly. And the only one goal that wasn't accepted, we went through a process that went on for several days, just sharing goals and accepting them and sharing and accepting and setting aside the ones we couldn't resolve. The one that was not resolvable was, at the moment, that needed more time, was the buyout. It was interesting what was discovered in the sharing of personal goals. One of the partners really wasn't concerned about being bought out. He was more concerned about being left out. In other words, he wasn't going to be part of the process, part of the end group, so to speak. And I think he imagined some kind of a disgrace or whatever it is, not being discarded. And when we discovered that, and we knew that we were able to develop a process where he certainly wasn't discarded. He did, we found an acceptable appraiser for the business. We found an acceptable attorney who actually represented both sides and said it was probably the cleanest deal they've ever put together for the buyout. And the one partner was bought out. Eventually he left to start his own business, but it left on good terms.